This is why you don't mess with the U.S. Navy. On March 16, 2025, Houthi forces launched what military analysts are calling their most sophisticated attack yet against U.S. naval forces operating in the Red Sea. Their target, the USS Harry S. Truman, aircraft carrier and its strike group. The attack began in the early hours when U.S. radar systems detected multiple incoming threats from Yemen. Intelligence reports later confirmed that the Houthis had mobilized their most advanced weapons systems in a coordinated assault designed to overwhelm the carrier group's defenses. According to Pentagon briefings, the attack consisted of approximately 24 projectiles, a mix of ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, and armed drones. The Houthis launched these weapons from multiple locations across their territory in Yemen. What made this attack particularly concerning was the use of the Houthis' newly acquired medium-range ballistic missiles, which military intelligence suggests were supplied by Iran within the past year. These missiles, with their improved accuracy and speed, represent a significant escalation in the group's offensive capabilities. As the incoming threats were detected, the USS Harry S. Truman's strike group implemented its layered defense protocols. The Arleigh Burke-class destroyers USS Carney and USS Gravely, positioned as the outer defensive ring, activated their Aegis combat systems. Meanwhile, the cruiser USS Normandy coordinated the group's integrated air defense. The first line of defense came from Standard Missile-3 interceptors, designed to engage threats at the greatest possible distance. As missiles and drones closed in, Standard Missile-2s and evolved Sea Sparrow missiles joined the defense. For the closest threats, the ship's close-in weapon systems engaged with their radar-guided Gatling guns, firing thousands of rounds per minute. In the hours following the attack, satellite imagery detected increased activity at several Houthi military installations across Yemen. U.S. intelligence agencies reported that Houthi forces appeared to be repositioning mobile missile launchers and air defense systems, likely anticipating a U.S. response. Regional observers noted that the attack represented a significant challenge to U.S. naval dominance in the Red Sea, a critical waterway through which approximately 12% of global trade passes. The demonstration of improved Houthi capabilities raised serious questions about the security of this vital maritime corridor. As news of the attack spread, global oil prices spiked by 4%, reflecting market concerns about potential disruptions to energy shipments through the region. As the White House deliberated behind closed doors, military planners at CENTCOM headquarters in Tampa, Florida, worked through the night preparing response options. By dawn on March the 17th, those options were on the president's desk. The U.S. response came swiftly and with overwhelming force. At 2100 hours local time on March 17th, just 39 hours after the initial Houthi attack, the first wave of American strikes hit targets across Houthi-controlled Yemen. Pentagon spokesman Major General Michael Harrington announced, "In response to direct attacks on U.S. forces, the President has authorized precision strikes against Houthi military capabilities. These operations target facilities used to launch attacks against international shipping and U.S. naval vessels in the Red Sea." The operation, codenamed Decisive Shield, began with a barrage of Tomahawk cruise missiles launched from the USS Florida, an Ohio-class guided missile submarine operating in the Arabian Sea. Over 60 Tomahawks struck radar installations, command and control centers, and air defense networks across Yemen's western coast. This initial wave aimed to blind Houthi air defenses and disrupt their command structure before the air campaign began. Within minutes of the Tomahawk strikes, B-2 Spirit stealth bombers that had launched from Diego Garcia arrived over Yemen. The bombers delivered precision-guided munitions against hardened underground facilities believed to house missile stockpiles and drone assembly plants. F/A-18 Super Hornets from the USS Harry S. Truman conducted follow-up strikes, targeting mobile missile launchers and weapons depots. These aircraft were supported by EA-18G Growler, electronic warfare planes that jammed remaining Houthi radar and communications systems. The scale of the American response exceeded most analysts' expectations. By dawn, on March 18th, U.S. forces had conducted over 150 individual strikes against 35 target complexes. Satellite imagery released later showed extensive damage to Houthi military infrastructure, particularly around the ports of Hodeidah and Salif, and near the capital of Sana'a. Unlike previous limited strikes in Yemen, this operation targeted the full spectrum of Houthi military capabilities. In addition to missile and drone facilities, U.S. forces struck naval bases housing explosive-laden boat units, training camps, fuel storage sites, and key bridges used for transporting military equipment. The Pentagon was careful to emphasize its efforts to avoid civilian casualties, stating that each target underwent rigorous review to minimize collateral damage. Nevertheless, Houthi-controlled media claimed dozens of civilian deaths, though these reports couldn't be independently verified. Iran, the Houthis' primary backer, issued strong condemnations but stopped short of threatening direct intervention. The Iranian foreign minister called the strikes illegal aggression against the sovereign nation of Yemen and demanded an emergency UN Security Council meeting. Russia and China also criticized the American action, with Moscow calling it disproportionate, and Beijing urging all parties to exercise restraint. However, key U.S. allies including the UK, France, and Saudi Arabia expressed support for the operation. The strikes achieved their immediate military objectives. According to Pentagon assessments, the operation destroyed approximately 70% of the Houthis' advanced missile capabilities and 85% of their drone production facilities. More importantly, it degraded the command and intelligence networks needed to coordinate complex attacks like the one against the USS Harry S. Truman. Within Yemen, the strikes had significant political implications. Reports from inside the country indicated growing tensions between Houthi hardliners who wanted to continue confrontation with the U.S. and more pragmatic elements concerned about the devastating impact of American air power. Military analysts widely viewed Operation Decisive Shield as a textbook example of proportional yet overwhelming response. Unlike previous limited strikes that had failed to deter Houthi aggression, this operation inflicted significant costs on their military infrastructure while avoiding targets that would trigger broader regional escalation. By the end of March, satellite imagery confirmed that shipping through the Bab el-Mandeb Strait had returned to normal levels as the threat to commercial vessels diminished. Insurance rates for ships transiting the Red Sea, which had skyrocketed after the attack on the USS Truman, began to decline. The confrontation marked a turning point in the Yemeni conflict. Facing severely degraded military capabilities and increasing internal pressure, Houthi leadership signaled willingness to engage in UN-sponsored peace talks. Though skepticism remained about their long-term intentions, the immediate crisis in the Red Sea had been contained. For now, the USS Harry S. Truman and its strike group continue their patrol in the Red Sea, a visible reminder of American naval power and the consequences of challenging it. The question remains whether this decisive response will establish lasting deterrence or merely reset the clock until the next confrontation. Make sure to like and subscribe for more content.